back to the gaming power-ups. I am Alucard, son of Dracula. Here's a special guest on this Halloween edition of Tales from the Memory Card. Today, we will talk about Symphony of the Night, a game that I star in. So enjoy!
Hey everybody, hope everyone enjoyed that little intro by Alucard. It's kind of cool getting him to stop by here. He's really hard to reach because, he doesn't have email or anything or, like a smartphone. So, I've got to mail off a letter to Transylvania just to hope he gets it on time. So, as he mentioned, today we're going to be talking about Symphony of the Night. Now, normally I have a hard copy and I show you guys. I have my Super Castlevania 4 back here. But, fortunately, that's one of the games I don't have a physical copy of. I played a ROM years ago, and I really enjoyed it. That's where I fell in love with it. And I actually just purchased it again for the PlayStation 4. They just released it on Friday. It's the Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night collection. They've put it on PS4 now with just a little bit better graphics, so it doesn't look as pixelated. I mean, it still is. It isn't a remaster. So yeah, it isn't a remaster, but again, it is retouching on the graphics. It does look a little bit better on an HD TV, but less about the graphics and more about the game. So I picked up a copy, or a ROM copy of Symphony of the Night years ago, and I burned the copy and played it on my PS1 because I didn't want to play it on the computer. I had to play it on the original hardware. So I played it on my PlayStation 1 and fell in love with the game. Fell in love with the style of gameplay. I've played Castlevania for years. Again, Super Castlevania behind me. I've played the ones for NES. But those are just very straightforward action adventure. You start off in the beginning of the level and then you get off to the end of the level. And then after a couple of them, you'll fight the boss. There's no running. There's no running. There's, the jump is just a hop. It's just a little hop. So I wasn't a very big fan of it. I'm a big fan of vampires and the werewolves and the lore behind that kind of stuff, but couldn't really get into Castlevania as a kid because of just how difficult they were. So, fast forward now, I've got Castlevania Symphony of the Night in. It's in the PlayStation. I'm playing it. I have no idea what's going on. Again, I don't like to read a lot of backstory on something I haven't played or I've heard a lot about, just so I can kind of immerse myself into it. So starting off, and I was like, okay, I'm starting off as one of the Belmonts. Sweet, all right, we're gonna get into it. And right away, bam, fighting Dracula in the first, 2 seconds of you playing this game. And then you defeat Dracula, and you go, oh, okay, well, I don't know where they're gonna bring me from here. And then fast forward a little bit more, and you start off as Alucard, the son of Dracula. Interestingly enough, I only found this out like last year by doing a little bit of research on the game, is Alucard's actually just Dracula spelled backwards, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, so you start off as Dracula's son, and you are trying to go through Dracula's castle to defeat Dracula, because you don't agree with what he is doing and, how he wants to rule over the land. So the one thing I really loved about Symphony of the Night is it's less action adventure. Like, it still does have those elements, but it's more non-linear in a Super Metroid kind of way. And that's where they kind of coined that term, Metroidvania. So it's one of those games where you can go and traverse most of the castle, but you won't be able to reach all of the different areas. So you'll have some that you'll need to get new abilities, or some that you'll need a certain item to pass through. Which is a really cool, I really love those kinds of games, because you can go through and sometimes you get stuck and you're like, man, I'll just go back and check the map, where can I go? There's a leveling system in there that kind of just levels up your health and a little bit of your defense and your attack. So it's got some RPG-ish elements in there. It's nothing really beyond that. Like, you don't have any attributes or any stats that you have to allocate certain points to, but it does give you that little option of just kind of, bulking up your attack, your defense, and your health. And the other thing I really like about it is that the fact that there's save points everywhere, and that's kind of where you get your health from. Like, you can find potions, they're not very common to find, but you can find them, or you'll find, roast chicken, because of course in a hotel full of, or in a castle full of vampires, roast chicken will just be laying there for you. But you can get some of those to replenish some of your health. You can also find weapons, which is awesome because you can have a weapon in your left and your right hand, and that's using the D button the square and using the circle button as your left and your right hand. So you can have a shield in one, or you can have a sword in another, or you can have a double-handed sword, so for stronger attacks. But again, you can't use your other hand. They have magic spells to use in there, so it's very expansive, and you still have those like little sub items that you see right about here on the screen, right by your health. Whether it be the cross that he can throw throwing knives, the throwing axe, holy water. There's also like it's a little square. It almost looks like a coin, but you can throw it and it will just bounce off of the walls and whatever, and may hit an enemy a couple of times. There's also the stopwatch, which stops time, or at least makes it go really, really slow, which is actually useful in one part of the clock tower. To get to one of the other places in the clock tower, you actually need to slow time down at the right time, and another part opens up. So another thing about it is that there's two different endings, and I didn't know about this the first playthrough. I went through the entire, what I thought was the entire game, and I got through it and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I beat it, awesome, cool. And went back to it, probably a few months later, and was just like, I just had an itching to play this game again because I enjoyed it so much. So I played it again, and then I realized that I said I want to complete the entire map because I hadn't done that the first time around. You can see it in the pause menu that there's a percentage of map that you've found. Or that you've discovered. So I was like, I want to discover the entire map. I just want to see the entire castle. The second run through, I found the merchant. There's only one of them, and he has certain items there you can buy because you can get capes, which is really cool. The capes is that they will change color on the inside flap of them, and depending on which ones that you get. If you have like a leather one, the inside will be brown and the outside will be black, or if you find the Alucard cape, it'll have red on the inside. So you can get a cape, you can have kind of like headgear, you can get chest pieces for more armor. But the merchant sells some of those things, and some things you won't ever find in the castle just on, just exploring. So he was pretty cool. So it was interesting to kind of see the entire castle. I also was able to find, by defeating one of the Medusa heads, those things if anybody's played Castlevania, they just swarm through the screen, and every time you try to jump, they hit you off the ledge. But interestingly enough, the yellow ones will turn you to stone the second that they touch you. But I defeated one and was able to get a Medusa head shield, which also, as if you hold it out, will hurt enemies, and they'll take damage from it as well. So which I thought was really, really cool, because I hadn't really used the shields beyond that, because I only had like a leather one and it wasn't really that good. So once getting through the entire map, and I was like, okay, well, I think I've seen everything now, and I was like, I'd read just a little bit online because I wanted to see, like, was it different ending if you completed 100% of the map and you found all of your relics and all majority of your items and stuff like that. And I'd read that there was an alternate inverted castle, and I was like, well, wait a minute. So I had to go and look this up to figure it out, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have figured it out. So you obtain two separate rings. I believe it's the gold ring and the silver ring. One you get from Maria, who's in and around the castle, and the other one, I don't remember where you pick it up from, but you have to wear both of those rings in the clock tower once you've defeated the final boss the first time around, and you wear those and it will unlock the inverted castle. So you'll go through I think it's a mirror or like a magic gate. You'll go through and you go back to the castle and it's inverted now. So now everything is upside down. So now you have to go through and traverse the entire castle again. You can see everything again. It's actually like it's over 100% of the map that you can find, which is interesting enough. I think it has to do with it being upside down. There's like a couple extra rooms you can get to that you wouldn't normally be able to get to. So once you get through the entire thing, then you fight your final boss. I won't tell you who the final boss is because I'll let you guys figure it out, and it's kind of cool once you get down there. But this game just brings back a lot of memories for me. And it was actually pretty recent in comparison to, my last 2 videos with Ocarina of Time that I've played since I was a kid. Super Mario World, also played many, many years as a kid, where Symphony of the Night wasn't something I've played, since I was a kid, but it's been the last few years, and I've gone back to it a few times. I'm really excited that they have it for the PlayStation 4. I'm really excited to play through it again and just relive some of those memories, because I'm a really big fan of the Metroidvania style games. Going through and being able to kind of just take your own path. It was kind of open world before open world was like open world and everything was, you can explore like every nook and cranny, like the new Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, where you can kind of see everything. Where, a game like Super Metroid or a game like Castlevania Symphony of the Night is that you could go through and explore a lot of the castle, but then you'd have to come back. You'd get stuck by a magic door, a blue magic door that you couldn't pass until you had a certain relic that allowed you to open that magically locked blue door. So it made going through, it made exploring fun, and that's what I really enjoy about it, and the RPG aspect. I love me some action adventure games, but I really, deep dive into RPG or a Metroidvania style game, because I just find there's more to explore and there's more to keep bringing me back. There's only so many times I can die on the same level without me being like, okay, I gotta turn this off and try this, at another time. So guys, I'm going to show you a clip here, just kind of a little bit of a playthrough on the PS4. You guys can kind of just take a look at the graphics. Again, it's by no means an HD remaster, but it is polished, and it does smooth out some of the rough edges if you're kind of just hook up your PlayStation 1 to your TV. So we'll take a look here. Again, I've just started playing this, so I haven't gotten through too much of it, so you won't really see a very large part of the map. But you guys can kind of see just how the game looks, how the attacks work, and kind of what you can expect, and to see if it's something that you guys want to purchase for yourselves. So here's the clip here. All right, guys. So we're just gonna start the game up here. So this is the title screen for Castlevania Requiem. So we'll go into the options here. You guys can get a look at just a couple of the options they have. Run No Blood is just changing the buttons over. And then display, you get to see, full screen, normal. Again, full screen doesn't go all the way out, so it's not a full screen. You still will have the borders. Scan lines, which I find when they're artificial don't look very good. I think natural scan lines on the CRT look a lot better. I find they're a bit distracting when they're on a large screen. But if that's your thing, they are there for you to use to kind of get that retro vibe to it. Smoothing, I find, didn't really do much, and interlacing, it just made my screen look like it was flickering. Wallpaper, 6 wallpapers in total, technically 5 because number 6 is black, so I guess if you don't want a wallpaper at all. So number 4 seems to be my favorite so far, so we'll keep that on. And then also in the voice language, you can go from English to Japanese. I'll leave it in English because I don't speak Japanese. So alright, so we'll start it up so you can see that you choose between Rondo of Blood or Symphony of the Night, but we'll go into Symphony of the Night. It's interesting that years ago when you'd watch the little opening here on your PlayStation 1, it was like, man, these graphics are so real. Those rocks are coming at me. And now they don't hold up as well. So another thing I've noticed playing through for the first about half an hour is that there are certain things that are different. Like the sound effects are a little bit different. The music in the background is still the same. As you guys can hear in the background there, it's still kind of cool. It shows you, the same thing like loading up your memory card still has now loading, which is kind of cool. A little throwback. So here we are. Here's Alucard in all of his pixelated glory. As you can see, it does look a lot better on an HD television when you plug it in your PlayStation to just your TV right now. It does kind of smooth some textures out. It does improve on the audio. It does play through the PlayStation speaker and the controller as well, which is pretty cool. So here you got the first little boss, sub-boss. I'm not going to try to pronounce these two names because I butcher it every time, but interestingly enough, if you guys have watched the anime Netflix, Alucard and Trevor Belmont run into these two guys in the second season, which is kind of cool. So, actually going through this playthrough, I've defeated both of these fairly quickly. Usually it's kind of let them drop, one hit, and jumps back up. I was able to get the devil bat guy out pretty quickly. And you defeat both of them. Anytime you defeat a boss, you will always get an increase in your HP. Your health bar will go up a little bit, as we'll see right here. So it'll just drop down. There you go, your life increases. And so here you can see that those are all little rooms everywhere in this castle. Right there we picked up sunglasses. So different items will do different things. Most of them are to increase your defense or like with your or attacks. But it's interesting that you've got cool looking sunglasses, because of course cool looking sunglasses would be left in a castle. Here's another little area where you can kind of blow through a door to get access back into a castle, so you can get through certain areas quicker. Pick up swords. It was a little hard to see there, but there was a sword that I picked up there. Wasn't any better than the short sword I had, so I didn't swap it out. So this is what the saves look like, the save areas. You can always still overwrite your data, and then it'll load into your coffin there, and your data saved. Now every save room you guys find, you will find that it will fill your health bar back up again. So here we're just looking at the relics, all the different relics you can get. The only one I have right now is Cube of Zoe. And that one just allows items to materialize. So your little quick save there, which is pretty awesome. But if you die after a quick save, it'll take you back to your last save. So here's getting towards the clock tower area. I really hate the fleamen, just because of how small they are. They're a little bit hard to hit. More annoying than anything. Unless you have like zero health left, or barely any health left, will they really take anything away? Here you run into Maria. So again, you will receive one of the rings from her.
What are you doing here?
A certain part of the game.
I've come to destroy
do not
this
sell
castle.
it. Do not get rid of it.
Likewise.
You will need it
I'm Maria.
along with
And
the
you are?
gold ring. To
Alucard.
finally reach that bottom area where
Well,
Alucard's
if you're a
standing.
better
will open up
swordsman than a
eventually,
speaker,
and you'll be able to
perhaps
go
I'll
onto
see you
the
again.
castle.
Farewell.
So on the left and right side, stopping the clock, advancing the clock will open up certain areas on there. You can go straight up as well once you get the Bat's relic. So again, just another little area here. You can kind of see, this was always the CD buffering area, like the CD loading zone. So that's why it says CD on the top there. And then here's your outer wall. You can kind of see the outskirts of the castle. So you can see in that last clip that I picked up a ring. So you can go and sell that ring. It does say sellable. I'm not sure if they all say that, especially the gold and silver one, but they may, because I'm pretty sure that I sold one of them to the merchant. Now again, you can find him on the left side past the library once you gotta get in a little bit more into the map. But yeah, he's good to be able to find just different items. There's, a couple of relics you can buy for more information on enemies and stuff like that. He's pretty cool to get that. I would definitely suggest buying the library card though, because I will send you back there right away. So if you're on the other side of the map, it will take you quite a long time to get back up there. And if you don't remember exactly how to get there, which I've done a few times, that library card will just will teleport you right back. Believe it's a one-time use only. So once you get it, you do need to get it again, kind of thing, just so you can warp over to the library. Well, guys, that concludes our look back at Symphony of the Night. I want to thank everybody for watching the video. And if you guys loved the video, give it that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you guys know when a new video drops. And everybody have a happy Halloween. Ooh.